Okay, so good evening or good morning, wherever you are calling in from today. It is an exciting session that we're running today. It is our introduction to Tornelo, but it's introduction to Tornelo 2.0. And I know that we've got a lot of people here today who have used Tornelo quite a lot and have maybe run many tournaments, and yet they're still back here for the introduction because we do have a lot of changes that have been released just in the last week. So we're going to be covering today just a quick background of Tornelo, who we are and what we do. We'll then go and talk about Tornelo 2.0, what all the changes are and what you can expect to see in terms of functionality and how you go about organizing tournaments. We'll have a little bit of a demonstration, and then there'll be some opportunities to ask some questions as well. So Tornelo, this is us. Who are we and what are we? Well, Tornelo was first started back in 2008 as an online pairings program. And we weren't running online chess tournaments. We were just a pairings program in the cloud for running face-to-face over-the-board chess tournaments. I had a scholastic business teaching kids chess in schools, and we were running a couple of hundred tournaments every single year and needed some way of organizing and managing all of those events, with more than almost a tournament a day at times. That's a lot of registrations, that's a lot of pairings, that's a lot of results that need to be distributed to players at the end. So we built an online pairings program to manage all of those over-the-board tournaments. In 2020, when COVID came and swept the world and changed chess forever, we added an online game server to Tornelo to enable us to run what we call scheduled arbiter-led tournaments live online. When we first looked at the options available to us in 2020 to continue our series of chess tournaments that we were running here in Australia, we saw that the other online chess platforms around the world only offered on-demand chess, so opportunities to play a game of chess, and we would still need to, we couldn't give the players the experience that we wanted them to get in that online tournament. We really wanted players to have an experience that was as close as possible to the over-the-board event. And so that's why we added the online game server, and we're now built for organizers and arbiters to run online tournaments, hybrid tournaments, or even over-the-board events as well. We've been doing this for quite some time. We've had more than 12,000 events on the platform, and we're seeing, there's been about 5,000 events on the platform just in the last year. So it's growing quickly. Tornelo is an all-in-one solution. It's fully integrated. We manage every single aspect of the tournament management process. We start with registrations and payments. We do event management, which includes everything through to fair play processing. We have a pairings program that can manage pairings. In Swiss round robin, you'll see all the different types of pairings that we can do. We've got the actual online games, which means that you can be playing a face-to-face tournament over the board and have one or two people playing online. So it's a hybrid style, or you can have everybody playing in a completely online tournament. And then at the end of the tournament, we manage also ratings, player profiles, archiving, and everything that you need after the end of a tournament. So it is a full solution, start to finish, everything that you need for running a chess tournament. The type of people that use Tornelo, we have three roles on the site. We have organizers. An organizer is somebody who owns an organization. They are in charge of a logo, basically. So that might be a coaching organization like Kids Unlimited. It might be a chess federation. We have a number of national chess federations using Tornelo. It could be the World Chess Federation, FIDE is on here. It could be continental. We've got the European Chess Union and a number of other continental confederations or associations. Or it could be even just an individual arbiter or coach who sets up an organization for themselves. As an organization, you can have delegated responsibility to multiple organizers or arbiters, so that you don't have to be a one-man band and run everything yourself, but you can create this system where other people can set up and run events with your logo, and if you're collecting entry fees, money can go into the organization's bank account. We have then the people who do all the work, the arbiters who actually run the events, and arbiters can do everything they need to do from within Tornelo, adding players to the tournament, managing the event, fair play processes, communication with players while the games are going on. So arbiters are, I guess, what we would think of as our main type of user in Tornelo. Of course, there are players who interact with Tornelo as well. The players are paying their entry fees and they're registering for events. They're actually playing their games and they're watching their rating progress over time as well on the Tornelo rating system. So we have those three different types of roles. Today, we're going to be mostly focusing on the arbiter's role and what the arbiter is doing on Tornelo. So Tornelo is 100% cloud-based. What that means is that you don't have to install anything. You can just access Tornelo from any web-connected device. So you can run a chess tournament from your mobile phone, and I have done that many times actually. In the early days when we had power outages or internet failures, and I was able to continue an otherwise impossible to run chess tournament without a laptop or without power. You can just run those tournaments from your phone. So it is fully cloud-based, which means that it's accessible from everywhere. The other good thing about the cloud is that it's always backed up. So you don't need to worry about where's my zip drive with all of my files. Is my computer going to be corrupted and the hard drive crash just at the wrong moment, and you've got 600 people standing in front of you waiting for the tournament to begin, and well, it can't because you don't have the files with you. Unbelievable how many times those sorts of things have happened just at the wrong time. And of course, when it's on the cloud, it's easy to share and easy to collaborate. So you can have multiple arbiters working on the same tournament, and you don't need to be sending files backwards and forwards. Everybody's working on the same information at the same time. So if you've ever used Google Documents, it's that type of experience where you could have two people both as arbiters, not necessarily even in the same country, both working on the same tournament at the same time with no clashes. We really like online tournaments. Obviously, Tornelo is something which can be used as a pairings program for over-the-board events, for hybrid tournaments. But we've really seen in the last 2 years a huge opportunity, develop for online chess tournaments. Online chess, I guess, pre-2020 was just the domain of casual games. And what we see now is that there are many official scheduled tournaments online, and chess organizations, clubs, national federations, they're starting to recognize that for every player that's playing chess face-to-face in over-the-board tournaments in 2019, there's somewhere between 100 and 500 people who are playing chess online who will be interested in playing in official tournaments. And so this is a really huge opportunity. It's a great moment in time for chess, as we've seen chess booming, in all forms of online spaces. This is a little case study of an online tournament that we have in Australia. It's a once a month tournament. it takes 3 to 4 hours to run on a Sunday afternoon. There's very little in the way of preparation. It's the same event that runs every single month, 7 rounds, 15 minutes per player in the games. The events, there's 10 of them that were run in 2021. The smallest tournament had 52 players, the largest had 100. There was an average of 70.9 or 71 if we rounded up to the nearest player, paying an entry fee of $20. That's Australian dollars. It's about half of what people would pay for a face-to-face tournament. But of course, there's no costs for venues, there's no costs for physical prizes, there's far fewer costs for the organisation overhead. So in the community of players, in the RJ Shield community, there are about 230 unique players across this year. So this small event is generating revenue, generating entry fees of about $1,400 a month from 3 to 4 hours of work and a little bit of communication with players in between to make sure that they know when to come back. This simple little event is the equivalent of having a YouTube channel with 25,000 views a day. So I know people often try to work out how can they create a living out of chess, how can they actually make chess into more than just a hobby, but into a lifestyle and a livelihood. And Twitch, YouTube, those are all options that people are heading down at the moment. But it's a lot of work. If you're on Twitch, you might be streaming 48 hours a week. If you're on Tornelo, you could just run a 4-hour tournament once a week and get the same sort of revenue as somebody who's in the top 0.5% of people. So there's a real opportunity. There's a demand. There's an appetite from players all over the world to play in online tournaments that are led by an arbiter, that are scheduled, that feel like a face-to-face tournament. And I can tell you, it is much, much easier than trying to build a YouTube channel up to 25,000 views a day, or to get your Twitch followers up to 150,000 followers, and that'll put you in one of the top fraction of a percent of Twitch streamers of any description around the world. And yet we see an average local chess club able to attract players and generate the same sort of revenue. So let's check out Tornelo 2.0. As I said, for a year I've been telling people this is coming. It is coming. I promise you. We're getting rid of the pairings program, and everything's going to happen in the tournament lobby. And here we are. A week ago, we finally released, and now everything, all of the action takes place in the tournament lobby. So there is just one page that you go to. On the left-hand side here, you can see all of your navigation between different divisions, between start lists, standings, pairings, and so forth. And you'll see there is a pair round button right there in the lobby, and all of your pairings get done straight away in that one place. So everything is just on the one page. There's no navigation needed to other sites. There's no needing to have multiple tabs open. You've got everything in the one place. So that's pretty exciting. When it comes to pairings in Tornelo, what can you do? Well, we have Swiss pairings, we have all play all tournaments, and we have the ability to customize your tournaments in whatever way that you like. So when you get to the pairings engine settings, you can choose Swiss tournament, which would be using the JavaFo pairings engine. And JavaFo is the same pairings engine that's used in 80% of the FIDE approved pairings programs. So it will generate exactly the same pairings every single time. Familiar pairings programs like Swiss Manager or Vega will generate. So it will generate exactly the same pairings if you're using JavaFo. JavaFo has been updated now, so we can run team battles using JavaFo. So if you're running a teams tournament, not in an Olympiad style format with board 1 against board 1, 2 against 2, That's coming soon. But if you're running a teams tournament where you have all the players in the tournament playing an individual Swiss, but players from the same team barred from playing against each other, that's what we would call a team battle. And we now, Yavafo will now handle those team battle tournaments for you. We've also enhanced our round robin functionality when you're doing pairings. So you've now got in the round robin, we used to shuffle the player numbers, so it was a bit tricky to work out, how to actually set up a round robin with specific seeding numbers or specific, position numbers. So now what you see is what you get. If you can see players in ranking number order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, you will get a round robin with 1 against 8 in the first round, according to the Burger tables. We've also introduced a double round robin functionality, which will flip the last round and give you opposite color pairings in the second half of the tournament. So you can run a full double round robin tournament as well. Of course, as always, you can do manual pairings and set the pairings yourself, or import pairings. And you can now import pairings either from a PGN file, so you've got games in PGN format that you can import, or you can import them as a CSV file. So that's just an Excel file. You just get the 3 columns, your table number, your players as white, your players as black, and you just save that as a CSV file, upload that into Tornelo, and all your pairings are uploaded. So we certainly try to make it easy to get data in and out. We have some extra functionality as well for pairings. You can obviously edit any individual pairing. So halfway through a game or round started, you want to get everybody playing a game, you can edit pairings manually. You can also do acceleration. If you've got a large number of players in a small number of rounds, you can do accelerated pairings, and you can manually set your start numbers so that you can play those round robins in the order that you'd like. So you can do your own drawing of lots, or however you want to get those start numbers set up, and you can choose the start numbers for your players in the tournament. So that's some of our new pairings functionality. When it comes to taking action on a player, you'll see, and this is our player list, we've got a table here with a number of lines for each of the different players. And on the right-hand side here, you'll see ... which is an action item. So there are generally 2 places where there are buttons that you can click to do things. The first will be in the top right-hand corner, which will be buttons which give you actions on the whole, like on the player list. You might want to update everybody's rating because they entered a month ago and their ratings aren't up to date. So you can update their ratings by clicking the update ratings button. This is what happens at the top level. And if you wanted to edit somebody's name or withdraw them from a tournament or anything like that, you would be clicking on the one line, the ... on the side, and you'll have all of your options that are available for that one line. So that's the typical behavior across all of Tornelo, is buttons in the top right-hand corner on a global level. And then if you wanted to do something to that particular row, click on the dots on the side, and you can take some sort of action on the side on that one particular line. We have significantly enhanced our control and overview of games and tournaments. The first thing that we've done is all of our tables, we've now got a column chooser. So you can choose different columns, and we've also got sortable columns. So you can click on any table header, row header, column header. You can click on any column header, and that will sort by that row. If you click it a second time, it will sort in the reverse order. Okay. Your column chooser will allow you to choose more columns, obviously, that are maybe not available by default. The second thing we've got is a filter. So a filter is like a search on the information that you see in the table below, right? So you can search for any text that you like. You can search for a player's name. Here we've searched for the United States, which actually searches for the flags. The flags are the country that the players represent. So if you're running a very large tournament with people from 100 different countries and you want to see are all the Italian players are here, you type Italy in there, it will show you all the Italian flags. They're not going to be all there. They're going to be busy having coffee. They'll be there a little bit late, don't you worry. So we've got on every table view, column choosers, sortable headers, filters, and in particular on our players, we've got some new icons that you may notice. Okay, so these icon here, the arrows, this is what we call a skip round. So if a player is not playing in the next round of the tournament, you'll see that icon there, the arrows pointing forwards. That indicates that they're going to be skipping the next round. And when you do the pairings, you click pair now, it will leave that player out of the tournament. You'll see a circle with an X in it. That means withdrawn. A withdrawn player is out of the tournament for the rest of the tournament. But if they want to, if it's an online tournament, they can rejoin the tournament when they're ready, and they'll be paired in for the next games after they rejoin the tournament. Okay, but lines through their name, they're withdrawn from the tournament. The most serious thing you can do to a player is to block them from a tournament. Here we've got our little red icon and their lines through their name. A blocked player is withdrawn from the tournament. They're not going to be paired in for any other rounds, but they're also not being seen in the tournament at all. So they've been hidden from public view. They're going to not show up in pairings. They're not going to show up in standings. You're not going to be able to see their name anywhere in the tournament. This is an extreme case that you might, for example, if a player has been behaving badly in your tournament, maybe they've got an inappropriate name, maybe they've had some fair play misdemeanors, and you're asking them to leave the tournament. If you withdraw a player, they can rejoin themselves into the tournament. But once you block somebody, they can't rejoin the tournament. They can't take any more part in the event. Not only that, nobody else can see that they're there. So if it is a case of fair play, you can remove somebody from the tournament, and their name isn't going to be sitting in your player list for everybody to see. And they say, oh, this person's been disqualified. So blocked players they're out of everything. So in the pairings or in a game view, you'll just see the players listed as blocked player. Okay. Of course, arbiters can always see everything. Arbiters always have oversight of everything, but for the general public, that's what they're going to see. We've also got on every table a filter. So a filter is a data filter rather than a text filter. So you can type something into a box and find any information you want, but you can also filter by data. So for example, if you've got in your players list, you wanted to filter by, what divisions are available, or whether people are absent or present, or paid or unpaid, or any other status, you can check a whole heap of those boxes and you can find things really easily and quickly. Okay, easily and quickly. You're also able to download information from every view as well. So again, easy import and export. One of the most requested features was the ability to have multiple tie breaks. So we now support average rating of opponents, book alts, direct encounter, games played with black, Koya, number of wins, performance rating, progressives, Sonborn Burger, start number, very soon a rounds as well. And we have all of these different tie breaks supported. You can use as many of them as you like. You can use one or all of them. And all of those tie breaks are customizable as well in some way. So you may want to include or exclude forfeits. You might want to have cut one from the top in a book odds, for example, or a progressive score. You might want to cut. You might want to do a Koya with different, not just the top half of the players, but the top 10% instead. So you can have settings on all of these, and when you add the tiebreak, you'll be able to choose what you want, what those settings should be, and you can then add as many as you like. You can have 10 different versions of book alts if that's what you want to have for book alts cut 1, cut 2, cut 1 and 2, whatever you like to do with or without virtual opponents or counting forfeits, whatever you want. So all of that is fully customizable. You can set as many settings as you like. When it comes to the standings at the end of the tournament, use the column chooser, and here are all the book alts, all of your tiebreak methodologies in the order that you've decided they should be in. Okay, so you set the tie breaks, you set the order, and now you have the ability to view in the standings all of the different tie breaks if you'd like to see what's going on. Upload and download. So any information from Tornelo, you can add it, you can take it away with you if you'd like to. You have the ability on any table. So we saw on a player list view or a pairings view, you can download a CSV file. So that's basically an Excel file for the information that you see on the page. You can continue to download your games from the tournament. You can set up live broadcasts if you want to syndicate that broadcast PGN across multiple sites live as the tournament's in progress. You can download, of course, your entries in a CSV file so that you've got everybody's email address and phone number and other IDs and whatever else that you need. We've added a new upload feature, and that is upload games from PGN. Okay, so uploading your games from PGN is not the same as uploading your pairings, as a number of people have found out already. Uploading games from a PGN is an archiving methodology. So let's say you've played an over-the-board tournament. You've got all your PGN file of every single game in the tournament, and you need somewhere to store it. You simply upload that PGN file to Tornelo. Tornelo will create the entire tournament structure for you, because the PGN tells us it's round one, board one, board two, right? So if you've got FIDE IDs in the PGN file, it will match all the players, so that those games will be on the players' profiles when they come to check out their own version of Tornelo and log in later on. So you'll end up with a full tournament structure, a player list, pairings, and games. Those games will automatically be analyzed for fair play. So, for example, you might have an over-the-board tournament and be interested to know what the fair play statistics are for those players. You can upload your games from PGN, and you can then see the fair play results on your fair play report on Tornelo. This will help the community. The more games that end up on Tornelo, for each player, the more history we've got for players, the more likely it is that we can then help you determine, are they playing fairly in their online games, right? Because you can now compare their over-the-board games with their online games. And the more data that we build up, the easier it's going to be for us to help you maintain fair play in all of your tournaments. Okay, so we still have pairings uploads if you need to upload pairings. So make sure you can do that. On every table, you've got your download CSV button here on all the tables, and then you can download whatever information you see on the on the page. We've expanded our external profiles, so our relationships with national federations. Okay, so obviously you can select from any of these federations now when you're selecting the rating system that you want to use for your tournament. If you choose FIDE, it will search the FIDE ratings list, and it will give you the player's name and rating from the FIDE ratings list, right? You may want to use any of these other national federations ratings lists as well. When you use those ratings lists, you will get the name and rating from their federation ratings list. That may include special characters or non-Latin, English or Latin characters, so you can have accents or even completely different characters for languages. So you'll be able to use any of those federations. Of course, if your federation would like to be part of Tornelo as well, let us know. It's very easy, and we can connect your national ratings list into Tornelo as well to make it easier for arbiters in your country to to run nationally rated tournaments using national ratings. At the moment, we only have a single ratings list for each of these rating systems. So we only have a single ratings list. So we're just using FIDE standard list. We're using the standard ratings list for each of these different federations. But ratings lists, that is, on the FIDE system, you may want to use blitz ratings or classical ratings. That is coming soon. So you'll be able to then say, okay, let's break it down. We've chosen our player. Now we want to see, well, which rating system, which rating list are we going to use? And a number of federations have multiple ratings, multiple rating lists. We've got an improved browse experience for players and arbiters when you're trying to find tournaments. So obviously there are a number of tournaments that are looking for players. And so we've now got a community of something like 90,000 players who are taking part in scheduled tournaments each month on Tornelo. And some of those players who are playing in your events may want to play other tournaments online as well, or even face-to-face if they're listed. So we've made it easier for those players to discover other tournaments run by other organizations. So on the browse page, we've got the same column selects, we've got the same filters, we've got the same text searches, and we've made it a lot easier to find all of the information from the browse page in Tornelo for everybody. So that's what we would like to, we want to help tournaments get more players. We have dark mode. So you can switch dark mode on or off from your user menu in the top right-hand corner. And you can use dark mode, which a lot of people find much more restful and easier to look at a screen for 6 or 8 hours when it's in dark mode rather than when it's white and bright. We've revamped our entire rating system. So the entire rating system on Tornelo has been re-rated all the way back to the year 2002 when our first tournaments were on Tornelo. So we've got all of those tournaments re-rated using a Glico methodology instead of a ELO methodology. So Glico methodology takes into account both the player's rating and also the reliability factor for that player. So if a player doesn't play for a long time, they've got an unreliable rating, their Tornelo rating will change much more quickly. Okay, we'll still display on players' profiles full history of all of the tournaments that people have played in, and their ratings change after every single tournament. It is a completely live rating system. As soon as you click submit for ratings, all the players' ratings are updated instantly. Okay, we're working on the ability to re-rate events back in history. So if we see we'd like to make a change to a tournament, say a month ago, we can make a change to that tournament and everybody's rating in that tournament will be updated instantly. Not only that, but all the people that they played against over the last month, if that's going to affect their ratings will be updated as well. So it'll be a completely live rating. Even if you go back in time, you change a rating, then it will flow forwards and update everybody's rating that could be impacted by the people who've changed. So that's some work in progress. But at the moment, Glico 2 is live. We're pretty excited to see. So if anybody has been playing a number of tournaments and rating them on Tornelo, all of their players in their community will see that their ratings have all changed, probably not by a lot, but everybody's rating will have changed somewhat. Okay, we're going to show now a bit of a live demonstration so that you can actually see Tornelo in action. So here we are. Oh, I've got a blue stripe at the bottom, but there we go. Got a blue stripe at the bottom because it's Tornelo and that's our color. So here we have a tournament on Tornelo. You'll be familiar with the tournament lobby kind of setup. We've got our event details on our event summary homepage here. and we can edit all of that information. We can add images, we can put links, we can do whatever we want. We've got our two different buttons here to help players to join the Zoom room. So we've got all of the information that players need here. So first thing we might want to do is put dark mode on. So I'm going to switch that on there, and everything looks nice and dark. Makes it easy for my eyes to be playing or to be arbitering this tournament for the next 4 or 6 hours. Okay, so we've got down the left-hand side all of our information, player lists, and then all of our divisions set up. I'm going to switch dark mode off and go back to bright mode because it is a little bit easier to see in a webinar on bright mode. So we've got our player list. Player list is all the players in the tournament. Okay, this has got multiple divisions. We've got 3 different divisions being played in this tournament, but the player list shows us everybody in the tournament. All of these columns are sortable, so I can say, okay, let's sort by flag, sort by name, sort by rating, whatever I'd like to sort. I can click on the headers here to see the sorts. I can filter, so I only want to see people who are ready for the tournament. Nobody's ready yet. Nobody's checked in. That's a shame. I want to see only the people who've paid. Good on you, Magnus. You can always trust Magnus to pay for his entry fee. And who hasn't paid? Well, everybody else hasn't paid, so slackers. So we've got our filters here. We can change things for our display here. We can download a CSV, and that will download whatever information you see in the table in front of you. Okay, I've got here a applications tab. So what we've done in this tournament is we've forced players, when they've registered for the tournament, to register for this applications division. So they're not allowed to register themselves straight into a Jedi or a Sith. We've got to make that determination. Are they Jedi or Sith, and put them into their correct division. So we'll go to our applications division. We'll go to our start list here. And the start list will always show you in seeding number order. So top seed, second seed. We want to now move these people into one of the divisions. So shout it out if you like. Is Magnus a Jedi or a Sith? That's what we want to know. So let's move him now. We'll take the first answer that we get in the chat. Is Magnus Jedi or Sith? So I'm going to click here. I'm going to take an action on this row. So I've got the ... and I'm going here to move a division. So I'm going to move him to the Jedi Open. Okay, so he's now been moved to the Jedi Open. He's not in this one anymore. And when I go to the start list in the Jedi Open, here he is at the top with all of our players. Okay, what else do I want to say? I might want to see the paid column. Let's switch that on, and we can create an invoice for Master Yoda as well. Okay, if Magnus has paid his entry fee, we should be having an entry fee for Master Yoda too. Why not? So I've got all of my buttons down the side here, which gives me actions that I want to take on all of these players. I've got a financial report down the bottom. Once I've set up all my invoices, it'll tell me, here's all my entries, here's my invoices, here's who owes me money still, and it can tell you division by division how much money's been collected. So you've got all the information in there. I'll pair around in a second. So we've got our standings. We'll come back to that. Let's go to the tournament settings and just show you a couple of the settings in here. So go to edit. So most of the settings that you'll see here are very familiar if you've used Tornelo before. Homepage is where we set up all of our homepage information, so we can preview what we're looking at. That's what we see on the homepage. We've got our buttons we're setting up here. It'll be the formatting section that will give you the most excitement in terms of number of different features and functionality. So we've got a bunch of different settings that you can set up here. Here's our tiebreak settings. Here's our pairings engines that we've got set up. I'm going to go now. Games rules and clocks haven't really changed. Privacy hasn't changed. I'm going to go through to our online entries. So in the online entries, we wanted everybody to enter and force them to enter into a particular division. So I check this box here. I say force entries into one division, and then I choose the division that I want them to go into. So if I want people to apply for my tournament, and then I want to kind of verify that they're meant to be there, or that they've paid their entry fee before they get into the main draw, I can force everybody into a division called applications, right, which I've set up here. Here's my division called applications. So I'm forcing those guys into that division, and then yep, they'll all end up in this division, and I can move them later on. Okay. So what else can I show you in the format section that's exciting? This is where you are able to choose your manual start numbers if you want manual start numbers, but you can have a bit of a play around and check out some of those things there. All right, let's leave this one with some unsaved changes, and let's go into a round that has already got some pairings. So here we've got in the Sith Open, we've got the number 3 here, which tells us that there's been 3 rounds played. So I've got my rounds here, and I've got the tab where I can switch between all of the different games. So I can see what's going on in round 1, round 2, or round 3. And if I want to see the game, I click on the game, and here we have the game. Go to round 1, check out this draw. That's an interesting draw. If I want to switch between games in the one round, I've got my chooser here, and I can quickly switch from round 1, board 1 to board 2. So very easy. I don't have to leave the game. If I'm an arbiter, I can come and check out what's going on here, see what's being played, and I can just switch through and watch any games that I like. Well, this game hasn't started yet, so I won't be able to see anything here, but I can see what's going on. Okay. So this is switching between rounds, viewing games, and switching between games in here as well. All right, let's go back to our Jedi tournament. And from this tournament, we're now going to pair the first round and see how we play a game. So we've got all of our players registered into the tournament. We've moved players around as we've needed to. We've marked players as ready. Some of the players have checked in. If we're doing attendance and getting people to check in, I'm now going to click the pair first round button. So this gives us our choices of what we want to do with our pairings. How do we want to pair this? Do we want to do manual pairings or upload some pairings from some external system? Or are we going to just use YavaFo to get a normal Swiss pairing? So there are 3 different states that you can pair to. So we're going to pair as draft pairings. Draft pairings only we as arbiters can see. Nobody else can see that yet. So this is where we go to check that everything's right. What do we want to do with all of the players who are not checked in? Okay, if they're not checked in, at the moment, I'm going to pair all of the players. I want the full round paired up for this round. Okay, here we have our draft pairings. This looks okay to me. Maybe I want to change something. So actually, I want maybe I want Padme to get the buy instead. So I'm just going to delete this pairing. And I'm going to edit this pairing here. I'm going to put Han Solo in there. And that's an unknown result so far. So I'm going to edit that pairing. I'm going to add a pairing. I need Padme to be in the pairings here. So I'm going to add a pairing. I'm going to put her back on board number 4. And we're going to give her what's called a paired buy. This is a buy allocated by the pairings program, so she doesn't get any more buys in the future. And that's put her back on board number 4. Okay. I could have put her onto board 7 if I'd wanted to. So here we have pairings for the first round. Once I'm satisfied with the pairings, I now publish those pairings. So we get to hear a little bit of a noise. That tells you that the pairings are available for all the players to see. They can see the rounds, they can see the pairings, they can see who they're playing against, and they can start connecting to their games. Once you're ready for everyone to start, you'll change that to live. And as soon as it's live, players can start playing their games. So we're going to jump in and play a game. Who who's playing a game? Let's have a look. I guess we should have Mace and Magnus are playing their game. And once both players are connected, the game can start. So here we go. We've got a game in progress. Okay. So game in progress. Magnus likes to play some crazy stuff sometimes. Who knows? Who knows why? Okay, nothing much has changed in the games. Players can play games, offer draws, resign, call the arbiter, all of the normal behavior that we are used to here. Okay, so I'll offer a draw to my opponent. There we go. We've got the game as a draw. Maybe afterwards I'm going to complain to the arbiter. So we'll see. Let's get Magnus to call the arbiter. Magnus has called the arbiter. We've got an arbiter call now. We've asked the question, what's up? And Magnus says, I mouse slipped the draw offer. So please, arbiter, can you take back the mouse slip of the draw offer? So, okay, we're going to restart the game for you, Magnus. I'm a nice arbiter, so I'm going to restart the game. I'm going to continue from the current position. And here we go. The game is now resumed and we'll keep on playing. Haha. All right. Game's over. Let's go back to some real work instead of messing around playing fun games of chess. Yes, we've got the start all clocks button. So if some players have started the game and nobody else has, we can just click start all clocks and then everybody's clock, there you go. Everyone's time has started ticking. So no problems. We can do that in one click if we need to. If I want to change my mind and get rid of all this, I can just delete the round. It will cancel all the games, inform all the players that their games have been cancelled, and take us back to square one. Okay, so delete round, back to square one. All of those games have been cancelled. So what I'm going to do now is set up what I like to call a 6-minute challenge, and then jump back into some slides, and give anybody who we've got about 8 more minutes of presentation, but anyone who wants to stick around afterwards and jump onto Tornelo and maybe play a couple of games, we're going to allow you to come in and play a few moves or a couple of games if you'd like an experience of actually being in a tournament. So to do that, I'm going to create a tournament and I'm going to allow people to register for that event while I'm busy chatting to you. So we're going to start the tournament in 6 minutes from now. Okay, 6 minutes from now, which will be 2 minutes before our start time. I should be hurrying, shouldn't I? Because I've got to get the tournament set up. We've got to get everybody entered into the tournament, and there's only 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Oh dear. Let's see how quick I can set up a tournament. So run an event. I've got to search through all of our, actually there's too many Tornelos. I'm going to run this one as a Kids Unlimited tournament. That's going to slow me down. We're going to call this one our webinar Blitz. I'm going to put it in UTC because that's fine. And we're starting, I don't even know what time it is in UTC. Do I need a Zoom meeting link? I've got to find my Zoom meeting link. Participants window, where is it? Okay, here's my Zoom meeting link for the tournament. Let's check out what my format's going to be. So it's going to be a 4-round tournament. We're going to give you 3 points for a win, 2 for a draw, 1 for a loss, and 2 points if you get a bye. We're going to have Bookholtz our first tiebreak. We're going to have progressive score as our second tiebreak. And actually, maybe we want a Bookholtz cut one from the bottom with virtual opponents. and I want that one to be actually our top tie break there. We are going to be using Yavafo. I'm not going to do any manual start numbers. We'll let people do some pre-moves in their tournament. I'll make sure that we want honest players in our tournament as well. We're going to have 3 minutes plus 2 seconds move, and it's going to be a public event, online entries with no payments, and there's only one division. We just run it in Tornelo ratings. We don't need FIDO ratings. So here we have the tournament set up. I'm going to share this link in the webinar chat. So you've got 3 or 4 minutes to come to this and click the register button when you get to this page. So I've created the tournament, I've set it up. You can now come and start registering for this tournament, and we'll see what happens to our player list in 3 or 4 minutes from now. While that is taking place and people are registering for the tournament, let's continue with some of the final information before we officially wrap up for this webinar. And then anyone who wants to mess around and play some games, the tournament will be there to play some games. We have all of this information available on the Tornelo homepage. So if you go to tornelo.com, you will see a very sexy looking homepage. There's a start here button at the top. And when you click that, you will get all of this information. There are links to our YouTube channel with all of the webinars that we've run about how to run FIDO rated tournaments, how to deal with fair play in tournaments, how to use Tornelo at a basic level and an advanced level, how to run all sorts of different style of events. So when you come to the Tornelo homepage, you click start here, you have just a ton of information that will help you to run better chess tournaments. Okay, that's our goal, is to help all of the arbiters in the world to run better chess tournaments. We want to see as many people playing chess as possible, and the better the chess tournament, the more likely people are to come back and tell their friends and all those sorts of things, so we get more people playing chess. So, oops, I've just clicked through to the YouTube channel. There we go. So we do have, we've got some great videos on the YouTube channel. Highly recommend that you go and watch a bunch of those if you want to learn more about Tornelo. We also suggest that you join our Discord server. So this is our community of Tornelo arbiters. We have retired our WhatsApp group, which unfortunately we got too big for the WhatsApp group. So we've got about 300 arbiters who are involved in the Discord server, and it's a great place to go and get real-time help when you're playing a tournament. You send a message in there, somebody will answer you, and somebody will probably know the answer to your question. All right, we have our grandmasters of support, Yezhina and myself, who come in and help out answer questions as well. Highly recommended. Just follow this QR code, and you'll get yourself through to our Discord server and ask real-time questions and chat to other arbiters who are in the Tornelo community. So remember, Tornelo is free for everybody to use, includes our support and guidance. We have a webinar for any chess coaches about how to use Tornelo as a coaching tool when you're running school classes. That is on Monday next week, so feel free to join us. And we have plenty of other webinars on a regular basis. Okay, you have a help center, we have user manuals, we have YouTube channels, we have all sorts of things to help you. And of course, we have a fantastic customer service at help@tornelo.com. So use the resources that are out there to help you run your tournaments. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining our webinar this evening or this morning. We really look forward to seeing you run more and better chess tournaments, and we're here to help with everything you need. So thank you very much, and we'll see you at the next webinar.